Hi folks. Well, I'm back and it's been a while, I know. I'm going to try to get these podcasts in a much more often than they have been. And we'll get back into talking more about spirituality and see what goes on. And hopefully you've been finding the lessons that you need and the understanding about being spiritual and becoming a spiritual being and that part of you that wants to grow in a much better part of you that wants to grow and to be a betterment of yourself. I'm still not where I want to be as far as presenting myself across to you so you can understand and see what goes on and from my perspective and my opinion about spirituality. I mean, I've been checking this out and studying it for many years, and I write about it all the time. And I'm finally getting together a manuscript, so it's going to have some spiritual aspects to it. But the main thing is that I want you to understand is that learning about spirituality, you can do it at your own pace. It's something that you could follow through and do your reading and your research at your own pace, in your own time, and finding out the aspects and dynamics of being spiritual and how spirituality becomes a part of your life. And that way, the growth that you gain from having faith and belief and doing your prayers and meditate. And when I say meditate, I mean to go someplace quiet and close your eyes and breathe from your stomach and up through your lungs, and just take your moment and slow down a little bit and acquire sort of a quietness inside yourself, so you become calm, and you'll be able to get a hold of that inner voice that will come in there, and you'd be amazed at what you'll get out of that voice. I mean, it's coming from the higher power or somewhere outside of his realm, into it could be angels and spirits, and it could be so far from the universe and brought into you for your education and learning and what you want for your life as far as spirituality. I mean, it sounds weird and funny, but it's true. You know, when you put stuff out in the universe, what's out there is out there. It's like in the internet. You know, once you've posted or once you've done a podcast or you put yourself out there on the internet, it's there, and it's not going away. And but it's the same thing. When you relax, you get calm, and you make yourself allow that inner voice to come in. You'll find out that it's there for you, and you'll get more from listening and being calm and quiet, and you'll be amazed at what comes through your spirit. And it's something that I believe in immensely. I believe in faith, belief, and the higher power. And my wife Suzanne passed away in April of last year, and here it is coming up to April, and it's getting to me a little bit, and I have these down times, and but she's there in spirit. I know she's there. I can feel her in my heart, and but that spiritual aspects of within my life is that she's there. She's somewhere on a path, and God, or the higher power, put her on a path for whatever reason. He wanted her for something, and off she went. So her journey is much more different than ours, and I hope to, when the time comes, that I'll be on that journey with her. I mean, for 28 years I was on a journey with her, and it was an unbelievable part of my life that I miss horribly, not having her next to me in the chair and watching TV or going out to eat dinner or whatever. But, bringing that now, my spiritual part of myself is much more stronger. I've gone through some tough times in the last 3.5 years, and Suzanne was my rock, and she held me together, and it was really tough. It was really a bad time for me. I was a very unhappy man, and very down, and but now, one day I just said, this is enough. I'm giving all my pain, all my discomfort to you. I'll say the Lord and to the higher power, and I can't do it anymore. I can't take it. But that's when the spiritual aspects of my inner self took over, and I became a much more stronger and healthier person. And I still have my health issues, but they're nowhere near what they used to be. And I know I've healed quite a bit, and I'm so fortunate that I just sat there one day and said, this is yours. Do whatever it that you want, and just take me and put me on a path, and help me with my healing and dealing with life, and becoming a much more happier and dynamic person. And I feel that I've changed quite a bit, all because of spirituality. I got lost there. I put it aside, kind of subconsciously, because I was so bad off and so messed up and so lost that I just didn't know where to. I just kind of forgot about it and didn't bring it back into my life again. So that one moment, that one instance of time where I said, here, it's to the higher power, it's yours, help me, direct me, guide me, and miracles do happen. It's amazing how my life changed in a very short amount of time within this last year. I was devastated and horribly rocked by Suzanne's passing, and like I said, I have moments that it just tears me apart. But I reach into my spiritual side and make things happen, and she knows that I love her and I miss her, and I know she's there for me. This apartment, this was all her doing, and and the higher power, they guided me. They made this happen, and I love it to death here. It's a great apartment. I hope to be in a condo within a year or so, and moving on to another chapter of my book. But so we're going to get back to a little bit about spirituality here, and I'm going to read this. I hope I can do a better job of it than the last time, and you get something out of it. And it's called A Small Part to Learning Spirituality. I'm sorry I have to read it. I don't retain things. I can't do that. I've been that way since a kid, and that's why I'm so lousy in school. So, but I'm going to read this, and it's part of the journey to understand what spirituality is about. When the mind has no outlet for spiritual contentment, then one will make the wrong choice and find the darkness that only known from untruths. Why does this exist? Because the worldly environment succumbs to the pressures of society's direction, where only the time factor of life has not made its way to the right people and loses the path altogether. Spirituality cannot exist unless belief and faith become the main factors for realism. There is a higher power watching our every choice and feeling for the love only given for His touching our spirits through a spiritual way. You must believe in your voice, how it matters to others, and the way you bring love into the equation. Prayer and meditation can be a viable door to the inner voice coming forth and giving your voice the truth it needs to be spiritual. The evolution of meaning from your mindset will find the way for a desire and wanting of love far-reaching in society's lost ways. And that's true, You can get lost out there and lose that spirituality. It is everything to your psyche. The belief and faith carry its weight amongst the thoughts for being spiritual, taking you there in spirit and mind. Thus the road for the realism of becoming spiritual has an outlet, and the contentment will soon follow. One needs to be diligent, so the way of finding spirituality can only make a choice to do so, an easy journey for the mindset of belief and faith. That direction will supersede the lousy and the false readings you find out there amongst the world of life. There are false prophets and people who know nothing of being filled spiritually. The findings of these people will take you down the wrong path, fallen into a deep hole of untruths, and may take years to be found and put back on the right track of being spiritual or finding spirituality. The road to the higher power's known way of getting the message into your mentality is all through research and using the many venues of spiritual writing that are filled with the real meaning and directions for spiritual awareness. That belief and faith are a powerful commodity. You gain everything the meanings bring inward for the path to a righteous way of living, a lifestyle totally making a change for the better and giving the choice meant to be used as a catalyst for becoming spiritual. Your way of thinking gains many ways one can use for the spiritual journey's direction, for the building of one's many ways one can use for belief and faith. It becomes easier, and an understanding follows the mindset of knowing that spirituality can be had without so much drama attached to it. Although it can still take years for some people to grasp the coordination of what spirituality is and can do to one's journey for the spiritual dynamics found within the learned ways of becoming spiritual. There are many roads, and each passing of a path brings lessons and many eventual endings, and then make your life a way of life. As the end of the path shows the lessons, and each mindful capability to the finding of that lesson brings awareness to being spiritual. The path thus turns into a journey. That is where the learned ways of being spiritual take hold, giving you the sequence of each lesson so the path takes you into forward approach to living with a spiritual truth to yourself. Also, the path you took and finding the lessons only allows you to return for a moment of re-educating yourself on awareness of spirituality you might have forgotten or need to refresh the mentality of being spiritual. But also remember, praying and meditating or being quite quiet someplace where the inner voice can become a part of your mindset, adjusting a mental state for hearing a lesson. Lessons are everywhere. The internet, books of spiritual nature, magazines geared for spiritual reading and finding something that interests you. So the outcome only gives you a betterment of belief and faith into a spiritual path for learning about spirituality. It seems daunting and tedious, I assure you, though it is not. Everything you take inward and file in your own mind will eventually take you on a journey of a more loving, caring, happier you. The benefits are essential to how you want to live your life. Ways only enhances the dynamics of who you are and where you want to go throughout the factors found only in the worldly ways of life. Yes, life will throw curves at you within the road you are following to be a spiritual person. You do not get a free ride in being spiritual because life does not work that way. You can incorporate the spiritual events you pick up and use for your trek along the journey's road, gaining knowledge as doing so. Knowledge is everything in spirituality. If you think you know all about being spiritual and have not read or researched the ways for meanings to be understood, the eventual wall you will have in front of you, an impossible barrier to cross, is the end of your freedom for a wonderful adventure into being a spiritual person. I have not even come close to being totally bound to becoming a spiritual person. I know a lot about spirituality and how dynamics work for me to find the lessons and go on the journey for more lessons. My path is through prayer and meditating. My finding books and using the internet to learn more and gain knowledge about being spiritual only enhances my journey to being a spiritual person. And anybody can do the same thing. I am fortunate in knowing immediately whether what I am researching or reading is the truth about spirituality. For some reason, the people out in the world who think they know all about spirituality and try to make their opinions and so-called lessons heard are only making it difficult for people that want to learn about spirituality. I find it hard not to write about these people and let others know the knowledge they are putting out in the written way is filled with untruths and almost deceitful ways to misdirect your way of thought. People spend hours and days well into the nights wanting to learn ways of being spiritual, finding out later the person who they thought was legitimate took them down the wrong path and the journey set before them is gone. All the research and reading and nothing to give them the right path and more forward on to a journey of a factual spiritual lesson. That's true. You've got to be very careful, especially on the internet. There's people out there that that will not they will take you down a road that you think is true and factual about spirituality, and it's not. And when you get out there and you get to see the differences that are in words and the explanations that are out there that are trying to give you a spiritual path, you'll begin to understand and right away know which ones are true and which ones are false. But it takes time. But sometimes you pick up right away that these people know nothing about what they're talking about, and I need to find another path here to gain the knowledge I need for becoming spiritual. One must be diligent in the belief and faith they bring within themselves through the higher power's way of giving what needs to be a spiritual path. Praying and meditating will find the journey you want. Then the powerful understanding which one finds along the way will only make for a more enjoyable experience. It is sometimes difficult to bring the inner voice you want when meditating and praying. There are many factors that may be in your way, not allowing your mental state to be receiving the information inward your spirit. This is where reading and research comes into effect. The more you learn from different materials, including the Bible, the more you bring the mentality to hear a voice inside you. The eventual outcome is having that special part of yourself bring the venue for a message of sorts as a lesson and growth toward being a spiritual person. I have that inner voice for my writing and as my photography awareness to make the images come forth as I feel inward. It is the right camera shot. My words flow as if paint setting itself upon the canvas. It wants the picture to appear from the mindset I project from within the voice guiding my brush. I have no idea where that voice comes from or whether a special deeply set avenue of imaginative thought and entity of supernatural directives from the higher powers realms of angels or a spirit of some sort. I do not even know how to explain it. So you understand the writing or photos come from me and the result is my thought process made it all happen. Of course, you need to learn about photography so the images come out like you want. Same as in writing. Taking a creative writing class will help you with how you want to bring your words out and make for a better storyline. Knowledge is the same in spirituality. The more you learn from whatever you're going to do in life, the more you gain toward eventual lesson about life itself. And as many bookstores as possible. Meander through books and magazines geared towards spirituality. Read what you think is a right path and continue to do so as often as can. The library is another venue for a spiritual learning experience. I find the internet to be a vast array of interesting paths about spirituality. The knowledge found is impossible to comprehend as far as the depth of reading possibilities for everything you may need to learn about spirituality. I would almost say it is endless, but the hours it takes to read and retain, I have a very hard time retaining anything read. It is the reason for my lousy school grades, as I mentioned before. I do not know what to call it, but spiritual. If I don't have to memorize the reading, then it sets better in my mind, and sometimes I go back and reread the information. Please make sure what you are reading is legit and explain as simple as possible the dynamics of being spiritual. At some point, I will list some websites that are good spiritual reading material. Being spiritual is a process. Having the whereabouts to know what material will best suit you takes time. Understanding and planning about spirituality takes time. Praying and meditating takes time. This part of getting to know about being spiritual can be difficult for some people. Life wraps us up with all kinds of moments, and time is not on the list that allows one to drop whatever they are doing and learn something about spirituality. This part of bringing spiritual awareness within your living ways must be given a commitment like anything else that takes time in your life. One must decipher that way of life and hopefully at a little higher level than other commitments. Prioritizing what day and or night takes some planning and must have your total concentration with the spiritual journey. Then the path is set and off you go for a spiritual life filled with many wonderful experiences. Enjoy the trip. It only gets better from here. Well, that wasn't a very good reading, I'm sorry. But it's from me, it's my words. It came through me from wherever, I don't know, some spiritual entity out there gave me the words and I put them down and off I went. So, put yourself on a path and take the journey and find out what you can. Do a little bit of homework, go to places and read the material about spirituality, and you'll find that the more you gain about spiritual aspects of life, the better off and the more you personally will be as a spiritual person. You'll gain so much, and you'll become a much better person for it. So I'm gonna pull back and then call it quits for now, and I hope that you find what you need in spirituality, and you'll be able to understand my bringing across to you in what you need and what you can find along the path of being spiritual. So God bless, and I hope you have a great night and or day, whatever time that you are seeing this and listening to it. Be well, and may peace be with you. So take care.